Jane Collins was once a vibrant, ambitious woman full of dreams and aspirations. She lived in a bustling city, worked as a successful marketing executive, and had a close-knit group of friends. Life was moving fast, and Jane was always on the go. However, beneath her busy exterior, a silent storm was brewing. A storm that would soon plunge her into a deep abyss. The onset of Jane's depression was insidious. It began with minor changes, feeling more tired than usual, losing interest in hobbies she once enjoyed, and finding it increasingly difficult to concentrate at work. At first, she dismissed these signs as mere fatigue or the pressures of her demanding job. But as the days turned into weeks, her energy continued to wane and her mood darkened. Jane's friends noticed the changes too. They saw her withdrawing from social activities, often declining invitations with vague excuses. Concerned, they tried to reach out, but Jane assured them she was just busy or a bit under the weather. She became adept at putting on a facade of normalcy, hiding the growing turmoil within. As the months passed, Jane's condition worsened. She began experiencing severe bouts of sadness that would last for days, sometimes weeks. Simple tasks became monumental challenges. Getting out of bed each morning felt like an insurmountable hurdle, and she often called in sick to avoid facing the world. Her apartment, once neat and orderly, fell into disarray, mirroring her inner chaos. Jane's work performance started to suffer. Deadlines were missed, and her creative spark dimmed. Her boss, initially understanding, grew frustrated with her declining productivity. The stress of potentially losing her job added to her already overwhelming burden. Jane felt trapped in a cycle of despair, unable to see a way out. Isolation became Jane's constant companion. She avoided her friends and family, ashamed of her inability to cope and fearful of being a burden. The once comforting presence of her loved ones now felt suffocating. She stopped returning calls and texts, retreating further into her own world. Nights were the worst. Alone with her thoughts, Jane's mind became a battleground. Self-doubt and self-loathing gnawed at her, amplifying her sense of worthlessness. Sleep offered no respite, plagued as it was by restless tossing and turning. The weight of her depression pressed down on her chest, making it difficult to breathe. The breaking point came one bleak winter evening. Jane sat in her darkened living room, staring at the wall, feeling completely numb. The world outside her window seemed cold and uninviting, much like her own soul. In that moment, she felt an overwhelming urge to escape the pain, to end it all. The thought of suicide, once unthinkable, now seemed like a possible solution. But something deep inside Jane resisted. A faint, flickering spark of survival instinct urged her to hold on, to seek help. With trembling hands, she reached for her phone and called her older sister, Rachel. The words came out in a torrent of tears and anguish as she finally admitted to someone else and to herself the depth of her suffering. Rachel arrived within the hour, her face etched with concern. She listened patiently as Jane poured out her heart, sharing the dark thoughts that had haunted her for months. Rachel's unwavering support provided a glimmer of hope. She encouraged Jane to seek professional help, assuring her that there was no shame in admitting she needed assistance. The next day, Rachel accompanied Jane to her first appointment with a therapist. The therapist, Dr. Emily Harris, was warm and empathetic, creating a safe space for Jane to open up. Through their sessions, Jane began to understand the nature of her depression and the importance of addressing it head-on. Jane's journey to recovery was neither quick nor easy. It involved confronting painful memories, learning new coping mechanisms, and gradually rebuilding her life. She started on medication to help balance her brain chemistry and engaged in regular therapy sessions. Dr. Harris introduced her to cognitive behavioral techniques that helped her challenge negative thought patterns and develop healthier ways of thinking. Support from her friends and family was crucial during this time. Rachel, in particular, became a pillar of strength, encouraging Jane to take small steps each day. Jane reconnected with her friends, slowly allowing them back into her life. She discovered that sharing her struggles did not make her weak, but rather opened the door to deeper, more meaningful connections.